One of the more fascinating ideas that emerges in the later storylines of Outlander is the possibility that Frank Randall may have spent years secretly researching the past in search of evidence about Claire Fraser. When Jamie Fraser begins to suspect this might have been the case, it adds an entirely new emotional and historical layer to the complicated relationship between the three characters. Frank's profession as a historian already placed him in the perfect position to investigate the past. After Claire returned from the 18th century with the unbelievable story of time travel and her life with Jamie, Frank accepted her explanation outwardly, but it's hard to imagine that he simply ignored such a mystery. As someone whose entire career revolved around uncovering historical truths, Frank would naturally feel compelled to search for evidence. Even if he never openly admitted it, the possibility that Claire's story could be real would likely haunt him. Jamie's suspicion about Frank's research becomes especially interesting because it suggests Frank may have found something. If Frank began combing through old Scottish records, military archives, or local histories from the 1700s, he might have come across references to Jamie Fraser, the Jacobite uprisings, or even the settlers of Fraser's Ridge. Small mentions of these events could have slowly confirmed that Claire had truly lived another life in the past. This idea reframes Frank's character in a very different way. In earlier seasons of Outlander, Frank sometimes appears distant or emotionally conflicted, especially as his marriage with Claire becomes strained. However, if he was secretly researching the past and discovering proof of Claire's life with Jamie, then his behavior becomes much more understandable. Instead of simply being the man Claire returned to, he becomes someone quietly grappling with the reality that his wife's heart belonged to another man across time. For Jamie, the thought that Frank may have searched history for Claire is equally complicated. Jamie has always been aware that Frank raised Claire's daughter, Brianna Randall Fraser, and gave her a stable life in the 20th century. That alone creates a strange connection between the two men. But if Frank was actively studying Jamie's time period and possibly learning about his life, it means Frank understood far more about Jamie than Jamie ever realized. There is also a deeper emotional angle to this theory. If Frank discovered evidence of Jamie and Claire together in historical records, it would have confirmed that Claire's love for Jamie was not just a story or a fantasy, it was real history. That knowledge would be incredibly painful for Frank, yet it might also explain why he focused so strongly on protecting Brianna's future. Knowing the truth about Claire's past could have convinced him that Brianna was the one part of that story he could truly hold on to. Jamie's suspicion also highlights one of the central themes of Outlander: the way history and personal lives are deeply intertwined. The show constantly blurs the line between recorded history and the hidden stories behind it. If Frank was searching through historical documents for signs of Claire, it means he was literally looking for traces of their love story within the pages of history. This possibility also suggests that Frank might have discovered more than just proof of Claire's past. He may have uncovered hints about events that hadn't yet happened from Claire's perspective. As a historian, he would be able to see the larger timeline of events surrounding the American Revolution and the lives of settlers like Jamie and Claire. If he found evidence of future dangers, it might explain why he sometimes made decisions that seemed mysterious or protective. In the end, Jamie suspecting that Frank searched history for signs of Claire transforms how viewers interpret Frank's role in the story. Instead of being just the man Claire left behind, Frank becomes someone who quietly pursued the truth about the impossible. Through research and historical investigation, he may have come closer than anyone else in his time to understanding the extraordinary life Claire lived in the past. And if that's true, it means Frank spent years carrying the knowledge that the woman he loved had already made history with another man, long before the world ever knew their story.